This podcast is brought to you by On Track Studio.
Hello and welcome to the Natural Birth Co podcast. I'm so pumped to have you here for our fifth and potentially last episode with Gracie on our Journey Through Pregnancy series, because Gracie is now 38 weeks pregnant. So she is almost at her birth time, and I am so excited for her, and I'm so grateful to her for going on this journey with her through her pregnancy, hearing all the highs, the lows, the changes, the emotional changes as well, the shift that it's taken for the perspective of becoming a mother. So really grateful to Gracie in providing us with this amazing series that I know you guys have just enjoyed so much. In today's episode, we cover lots of goodies from the logistics and tangible events such as mucus change, such as going into hospital for CTGs, baby's movements and cervical changes, all the good stuff there. We also go through a whole bunch of emotional stuff that has popped up for Gracie towards the end of this pregnancy, including that whole motherhood archetype, and in this shift where she's getting closer and closer to becoming a mother herself, which even saying that out loud just sounds absolutely crazy. But she is going through a lot of healing and processing of her relationship with her mother and talking with her and breaking things down, which I really enjoyed hearing about in the podcast. We also talk about the difference between mother blessings and baby showers and what she felt about them. So I cannot wait for you guys to listen. And of course, we'll be getting Gracie back on to tell her birth story. I'm so excited to hear how this amazing woman births her beautiful little girl. Enjoy! Hello, Miss Gracie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good to have you back.
I know, it's been a while.
I feel like it has been a long time. How many weeks are you now?
I'm 38 today.
I feel like our last one was maybe at about 30.
32, maybe.
Maybe.
I feel like 6 weeks. It's probably been 6 weeks.
Yeah, nice. Something like that.
I don't know. Yeah, 38
weeks.
today.
So you got a term.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Tired, but good. No, I feel good. I feel good in my spirit.
Yeah. Everything else is fucked.
Everything else is fucked. No, it's actually, I don't know. I feel weird.
Okay, yeah.
I feel weird, but I feel I don't know. Like the past couple of days, I've had a little kick in my step, and I'm like, yeah, feeling good, feeling really positive and stuff, but then all of a sudden it's just, I'll just get really sad for a moment and then it's gone. And then, yeah, just a bit.
So the emotional.
Yeah, a bit of emotional roller coaster, but doesn't feel as intense as it has in like the first trimester.
Interesting.
Like first trimester, I feel was just like the roughest.
Yes.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like excitement. Because it's, she's so close. Like, we're so close. And
what a journey.
It's a journey.
It is. It is. Do you want to talk about, over the last kind of 6 to 8 weeks, what's been happening for you in regards to pregnancy, prep stuff, work stuff, whatever else has been going on for you?
Yeah. So, pregnancy-wise, I've definitely just naturally slowed down, as in just cannot move as quickly. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just chaos. And just wanting to stay at home a lot more, like, definitely, and Brenton's just loving it. He's like, I love this era of you, like, because I'm just like, I think we should organise the cupboards, and he's just like, oh my God, like, I'm such an out and about gal, like, always going for a walk or whatever, and I still do that, but, like, now most days I don't leave the house till 12.
So nice. Which
Which is crazy, because we live in the bush, and
yeah,
we've just been focusing on making the house feel really nice and stuff. I shot up until 37 last Saturday. So I was 37 in 5 days or something like that. 37 and whatever. And I definitely, just like my body is a lot more sore. So it was a little bit more challenging, but I feel like I created so many beautiful images in the last week as well. Like I was like weirdly having this creative surge, but also just like knowing I needed to slow down. It was like, like I felt really torn. And yeah, it has been interesting as well, because like I knew that this week, I just knew that people would be like, hey, is there any chance that you're still shooting and stuff? And it's all fair and well to be like, no, I'm taking time for myself, but then it's one shoot, like, financially really helps me.
Yeah.
And when you're working for yourself, you're not on mat leave until, or financially you're not on mat leave until you have the baby and you upload your stuff and whatever. So that's been interesting, like sitting with that, and like it really puts you in the what's important right now and stuff. But definitely my body and mind like need the space because I still feel a bit heightened because I'm still editing shit and like doing social media stuff and whatever. And like Brenton, it's really time, like he's really encouraging me to get out of my head. You just got to get into your body a bit more because he seems to think that she's not far. I feel it, like she's coming. I'm like, okay. Okay,
Dad's no.
So, yeah. And then,
it's so hard that, sorry, just what you're saying to that piece of, especially when the carrot is so dangled in front of you. Like I know for at least a month before you stop shooting, you were advertising, I'm going to be stopping shooting, like booking. And then you've said, this is the date that I'm stopping. And then you're offered whatever it is, $500 on a platter or something. Oh, just one shoot.
That's it.
Can you?
That's
like,
it.
how hard is that to prioritize yourself in that moment? And I'm a sucker for this.
yeah.
Than to, go work.
Absolutely, because you're right. And it's not that I hate what I do as well. Like I love it, and and when I've had a good night's sleep and I feel energy, I'm like, I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
But then 5 seconds later, you're just like, I'm so fucking tired, and this is like draining. And pregnancy is such a outputting time. Really, you're putting so much energy into something else.
Yeah.
That's in you, but it's not you. You know what I mean? Your body is giving everything, and your mind is giving everything. Future me was like, no, 37 weeks. That's late. You need to fucking stop. You need to stop.
Yeah.
But now I'm like past that, and I'm like, you're so capable. Yeah. I have been capable.
Yeah.
And I know other people, when they're pregnant, they have shit going on, and it's like harder physically to do the things. And I know everyone's situation is so different. So yeah, it is challenging. To navigate that. But when I tune into what I really need, it is rest, and it is
so good.
It is taking that time and just trusting that, like, money is going to come back, and but I need to start calming down a bit.
Yeah, and I'll be okay without it right now.
Yeah,
it'll work out.
And I've saved money, so it's all good.
Yeah,
and it probably is like a bit of scarcity, if I am being completely honest.
Fair.
That's like that'd be another week's rent or whatever, and.
Yeah.
It's like, what if I went into labor next week, right? 39 weeks could definitely happen.
Absolutely.
And I haven't had that time for myself. I haven't had that sacred time that I definitely deserve after working my ass off. It's been a fucking mission. I've worked so hard since being pregnant. Yeah. Certainly haven't relaxed by the pool by any means. Yeah. And that's not for me to say to get a badge of honor or whatever, but it's what my circumstances were. Yeah. Is that I had to work really hard in order to have some money so I can have a baby. Yeah. Because we weren't planning on having a baby. So Brenton and I have been fucking on for the last 9 months, or probably then before that we moved. It's been crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And as much as like I have tried to prioritize my self-care and stuff, and you're probably the same. I feel like pushing myself is my nature because I know I can do it. Because we can do fucking anything. And when you're headstrong, you're just like, nah, fucking fine.
Yeah.
Self-love's
always up last.
Yeah, literally. And I'm like, and
Who
then
needs it?
Oh, I know. And then even like for my maternity shoot, I just preach to the fucking cows come home about how important it is to capture your life. And then I'm like, no, I can't be bothered. I just want to chill. And then because it felt like that, like literally, I was like had to G myself up for it. And I'm like, wow, it was really good to be in that situation.
Yes.
But if you're pregnant, get photos done because I reckon I knew I would regret it. You know, if I didn't have someone take photos of me and stuff. So
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put some of them up if you were open with this podcast
when I get them back.
Yes.
But and then just getting the house ready. Like on Saturday we had a bit of a weird thing and had to like just go check the baby's heart rate, and it was more
go into depth with that if you
I'm like Kiri's movements definitely changed and not so much. It was just like you get into a rhythm of noticing. It was when I would wake up in the morning and have a coffee. She would, yes, I'm still having coffee, whatever. Honestly, like it got me through. But having coffee in the morning, she would move and I'd be like, good morning, and just would journal together and stuff. And then, you know, you eat something later in the day and then she's moving again and it's like she's kicking and you're like, fucking... And I noticed her kicks were getting real strong. And I was like, whoa, proper human in here now, far out. And then I noticed that there was probably 24 hours where it was just, she was still moving, but they were just a bit more gentle and a bit more wriggly. And so when I had a midwife appointment probably a month ago, maybe even more than that now, my midwife said she cannot get any further down, like in your pelvis kind of thing, which makes complete sense for all the pressure I feel on my anus. But she's very much in there. And then, yeah, just noticed that the movements had changed. And I wake up a lot during the night to pee or whatever. And normally would wake up and, like, when I'm peeing through those moments of being awake, would feel her and stuff. And it was just really reassuring. But then they weren't there for a couple of days. And I know when I tuned, so I just, like, got a bit in my head, and then you're Googling it and you're just like, everyone's just go get checked. And I was like, fuck, I don't know. So then I texted my midwife, and then I ended up calling her, and my stomach is really hard, like, and it is, and it has been for the whole pregnancy, as in, it's just been, I just have a really firm belly. And Candice encouraged me to do some stuff to, like, make space for the baby. Like, maybe she's a bit squished because she is so far down. We can try bring her out a little bit and see if that kind of helps her have a bit more room to move around. But then, and she goes, but if you're still feeling unsure, like, there's only so much I can do with my Doppler. You know what I mean? Like, you may as well go down to SCOO and get properly checked on the monitors and stuff. And I was like, fuck, it's Saturday. I've got to shoot this afternoon. I don't really want to go down to SCOO, and I haven't been to the hospital my whole pregnancy. I just want to stay at home. But then this other part of me that was like, and I'm such a normally a she'll be right kind of gal of she'll be right. Even when I'm sick, she'll be right. But then I was like, this isn't just my life. Like, it's a little baby in there now. And am I just going to rely on she'll be right?
Have that shift, hey?
Yeah.
When you're a mum, it's, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, like, I just feel... And Brenton was like, how do you feel intuitively? What is your intuition telling you? And intuitively, I knew she was okay. However, my mind was like, but what if she's not? You know what I mean? And, like...
Totally.
Because she was still moving, but they were just slower. And they're still like that now. Like, they're not... It hasn't got... Although... They were so strange yesterday. They're just different. She's just moving different. And then, yeah, so I ended up going down to SCOO, but when we were doing some of the movements to create space, I had a bit of leaking come out, which we thought may have been my water. So it was just all bloody happening. And then Brenton was freaking out that I was going into labour, and I was just like, no, I'm not. Like, it's going to be fine.
What did he announce when he said, oh, wow, look, there's water out. We're about to have a baby.
Is this it? We're about to have a baby? And I was just like, no, and it's certainly not happening that quickly either. Like, fuck.
Come on, let's fill up the pool.
And he was like pacing. He was pacing around the house, and he was just like freaking out. And I was like, holy shit! Like,
turn candles on.
He was stressing, like, and I, like, bless him. He just was, I don't know, he got into it, and he was stressed, and he was like, because he had a gig, and he's like, cancel it, what should I do? And I was just like, go to your gig, everything's all good. And I knew that, and as much as it would have been nice for him to come to the hospital and stuff with me, I think it would have stressed him out and stuff. So I was like, oh, and he was stressing me out as well. I was like, I can do this on my own. And I just listened to Sacred Earth on the way there, and I was like, I'll be fine. I'm just stressing. It's all good. So I left him, and then, yeah, went down and checked the heart rate, and they made me do it for quite a while because they couldn't get a good reading and stuff. And then I started having, like, strong Braxton Hicks. So I was like, am I going into labour? And it was just really like a experience that defined a lot for me and just really solidified where I want to birth, but also trusting in that intuition as well. Like, I'm glad that I went down to the hospital to check that she was okay. She is okay, and her heart rate was fine. But I also, it did highlight to me, like, how much I am in my head still. And that's what Brenton said. We had so many chats that day. I think I called that man 20 times. But anyway, he was like, Gracie, you need to slow down now. You're too in your head. You need to be in your body. It's the most important time for you to be in your body. So, yeah, ended up getting the all good after being in there freezing my ass off for a couple of hours. It did rattle me, but it really threw home that I'm going to be a mum soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it can happen.
It can happen whenever.
Do you want to speak to that uncertainty that we were talking about before?
With the, like, getting a planned...
Yeah, or just surrendering to the uncertainty.
Yes, so I was laying there on this bed, and they didn't put me in, like, a birth suite or whatever, obviously. They just put me in, like, a random room, and they, like, closed the door and shit, and you're just like, oh, obviously I could have brought a friend, but, like, I was, like, not sure what was happening. I was like, I don't know, I haven't been to, this is the first time I'm having anything to do with the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, really, the whole pregnancy. So then...
it is odd, isn't it?
Oh, it was so odd.
And then they, like...
And it was so
quiet. Open the door and walk in, and you're just sitting there, like... Still laying here.
Yeah, literally. And, like, she put the thing on and she was just like, oh, yeah, so this one monitors, like, the baby's heart rate and this one's for contractions. She's like, you're probably not having any of them. And I was like, nah. Like, I hadn't felt anything all day. And then as soon as I lay down, I just start getting, like I said, intense Braxton Hicks and then some period pain. And I was just like, oh, my God. And then, but then it was just crazy. And I'm, like, it just really made me... Like, when you are just, like, going into a spontaneous labour, like, you just have to be at that surrender. Mm-hmm. And I'm on the phone to Candace, and she's just like, do you feel like she might be coming soon? And it's, she's going to be coming soon at some point, but I didn't think it was going to be today. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because there was a moment there that I thought that could have been it. And I was like, this is way different than I thought it was going to be. Like,
you even packed your hospital bag, didn't you?
Yeah, I had one packed anyways, because we went on a little baby moon the weekend before. Mm-hmm. So I packed one for that just to be sure. And then, so I had that all ready to go. And then, but my thought process was, as well, with Brenton staying home, was like, okay, if I go and something's wrong with the baby and I need to get a, like, emergency Caesar, it's better him being at home so then I can call him, tell him what's going on. He can get me clothes and shit. I was like, it doesn't make sense both of us going, because then we're just, like, going up and down the coast. It was like an hour. It's an hour from my house. It's a while. So, but then, it really, like... And I had a shoot booked in that afternoon, and Candace was like, you're so good at working, you're so good at moving and stuff, but it is time for you to, like, slow down. And I was just like, oh my God, fuck, it is. It was like, I honestly feel like Kiri and I had that experience together to make me realize that she could come at any point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And just really, it just became a lot more real.
Yes.
Because, like, on Monday, Brent and I, like, shops were open. Brent and I were just stocking up on food. We, like, went to Bunnings, like, 3 times. We were just, like, Brent was like, do we need a fire pit? I was like, probably.
We're having a baby. Fuck, where's the fire pit?
Literally. What is happening to me? I need a wheelbarrow. And I'm like, okay.
I'm a dad now.
Literally, and I'm like, let's organise the pantry. Like, just so weird. It was fucking funny though. Like, it's been pretty funny. I still haven't cooked any food, but it'll happen.
Yes. I wonder, because do you think, so I understand that people are saying you need to slow down so you feel more in your body and stuff, which is, like, true and valid. But do you think that if you were slowed down and you were more in your body, you would have not necessarily gone in? Just because I understand and believe that our intuition knows and our body knows, which is great. But then at the same time, especially until we're in labour, we're very logical beings at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And sometimes, no matter how much you're like, no, I know it's fine, when you've got the temptation of the reassurance of a machine telling you that it's fine and reassuring your thoughts, then I don't know. Do you think you still would have gone?
I feel like it was the best thing. I was proud of myself for going. As in, like, it felt like the best thing for me because I knew that, in a way, I was just picturing myself ignoring, getting to that night, laying there. And because we, not only did we try positions to get her to move up and just create space, Brent had the didgeridoo out. He was like, open your legs. Let me get the didgeridoo close to her head. And so he's like, did you move? And I was like, and then that's the worst. I think it's honestly, and I know that every pregnant woman would have felt that, this feeling of, because like you baby moves and you're like, oh, cool, hey. And then, but when the movement's not there, and you obviously can't just demand them to move. So yeah, that was pretty funny. And then I was just really like... Maybe
the vibrations of the didgeridoo let a little bit of water leak.
Potentially. No, that was before that.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, it was a very interesting experience. But yeah, the body is just changing.
Yes.
The body is changing.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating.
And it is like a really big, realization into it can happen at every time. And I know we mentioned this before we were recording, but it's just so important. And the thing is, if you don't learn it now, you're going to have to learn it at some stage. It just is what it is. And I'm not saying that I've learned it. I think I'm not good at this at all. But the surrender to the unknown and the uncertainty is so important. And in these situations where, you could have a baby between 37 and 42 weeks or potentially even more, but then you weren't expecting it on that individual day, and then being ready to change your mind. Okay, I might be having this baby today. And then nothing happens. And then you say, okay, we'll see what happens. And then you're potentially expecting it the next day. Nothing happens. And then you're back into, okay, now it's going to be sometime in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Being changeable like that, adaptable is important. And it's uncomfortable, but I think sitting in that discomfort's important.
Totally. And I think, like, that was the thing too, because I was like, if it is happening and I don't want to get really excited and then it not be that either.
Yes.
And then, but that's going to happen regardless. Yeah. I'm sure I'll know, like, when I'm in proper labour eventually. But you just don't know. You really don't know. You just don't know how you're going to experience it. You don't know. There's just a big unknown. It's definitely, and I think I'm in the face of that. I'm in that. I'm in that.
You're staring.
I'm staring at
unknown right in the eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
Especially for first-time mamas. You can't even explain what a contraction feels like, what it's going to do, what the labour's going to do. Everyone's so different as well. But even if you knew exactly what it was going to be, like, you can't put it into words. And, you just have to wait to experience it, don't you?
Absolutely. It was really interesting, actually. So last night, I was like I was saying, I was having, like, just a weird, like, I was just crying, like, I was home alone and, like, just feeling all of these feelings about my mum, having all of these emotions come up. And I was just like, I know I need to let myself feel these, because I was like, just watch another episode of Gossip Girl. Like, so much easier. And, like, for sure, watching another episode of Gossip Girl is so much easier. But I knew I needed to let it out. So I just sat outside and I just cried. And
good on you.
Yeah, and then last night, I've had these dreams about me being in really big surf and these massive waves are coming.
You've been having these for a while. I remember you telling me about these
really
ages ago.
And I go under the wave.
Yeah.
Last night's was different. Last night, the waves were coming and they were massive. They were the biggest they've ever been. And the waves were coming, and then I was like, because, you know, when you're out in massive surf and the big wave comes and you're like, fuck, so you have to, like, go to the bottom and then you come up and there's another one, and then there's that feeling of, like, fuck, there's another one.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck, I'm going to fucking die. In my dream, it was black and white too. It was so weird, but I was...
so weird.
It was so weird, man. Fucking pregnancy's a trip. But yeah, I come up and I'm like, all right, there's another massive wave coming, and I feel that panic, and then I go down, and then this voice said to me, you need to just relax. Just relax into it, like, surrender it that you're under the water. And then so I, like, went all the way down to the bottom, and it was like I just let go, and I just felt this, like, intense peace of just being in just complete, like, you're underneath the wave and there's so much going on, and then you just come up and everything's okay again, and then it's back down and you're in the water, and it's just like, then you go through the stage of, like, panic, but then you surrender and it's like peace. It was such an interesting dream.
What did you get from it?
I feel like that's going to be the wave of contractions.
Fucking oath. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's literally, I was like,
that's
holy shit. Yeah, I was like, fuck, like, that spoke to me in a way of, they feel so intense and you're going to resist, but as soon as, obviously I haven't had a contraction before, I don't fucking know. But this is what I felt like was getting communicated to me in this dream, and it was like so much peace after I let go.
Yes.
And just you can just actually melt into it.
The sufferings and the resistance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was what the dream was saying to me, that, and I had this full voice. It was like a full voice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was an insane dream. And then I made a noise like this. And then I woke up and Brenton was still awake. Like, he was struggling to get to sleep last night. He was like, holy...
This was last night.
Yeah. And he was like, holy shit. Are you okay? Because I had been crying. I couldn't breathe out of my nose. So I was like, just dying. I woke up with the driest mouth this morning. I was mouth breathing all night. But anyway, so that was a really cool thing that came out of all of these emotions that I was feeling yesterday, was like, and just like staring birth in the face and being like, because it's not. I don't come from a family of empowered birthers.
Yeah.
It's very much just just whatever. It's not like super traumatic at all, but also not very empowering and uplifting. Because it's just they're not as spiritual.
Yeah. I hear you. Yes. Okay, so I just double-checked off air and Gracie said it's going to keep her accountable. So spill the beans. What led to this little emotional phase yesterday that you were just discussing?
Okay, it all happened. It all started. No, it did. It all started a couple of weeks ago when I met my second midwife, who I just love. Her name's Terry, and she was just a fucking cracker. I just loved her energy. She was great. I didn't want her to leave. But anyway, she brought up, she goes, do you think that you'll call on your mum in labour? And I was like, fuck no. And I was like, my mum, no way. And I've actually, before I had decided to have a home birth and went down this full path, Mum and I spoke about her potentially being at the birth, and she was like, oh no, like, she was resistant to it. So I was like, okay, like, at this point, like, I just didn't know enough about things, so I was just sussing everything out. And then, and for some context, like, I brought up that I wanted to have a home birth potentially with my mum earlier in my pregnancy, and it was very much shut down. And I didn't fight for it because at that point I didn't really know what I wanted. And I just told myself that I would tell her eventually. And and then there was other family drama going on, like more on Brenton's side, and I was just exhausted of like drama and like emotions, you know what I mean? I just wanted a bit of like stability for myself. And then I was like, no, it's like my decision and stuff. And then definitely like from Terry saying that, it just brought up like a lot of emotions about like how I wish that I was able to share this excitement of having a home birth with her, because I am excited about it. I'm excited that I'm giving myself the opportunity to experience birthing at home and like potentially paving a new way for birth in my family. And the way I see it is I'm giving myself the best opportunity to have a physiological birth and being able to birth calmly and not be, I know that they're just going to leave me alone and let me do what I want, and they're just there to serve me. And not saying that that won't happen at the hospital, and I have nothing against going to the hospital. Like, I went to the hospital on the weekend. It's totally there for a time and a place. However, like, I just want to give myself the best opportunity.
Which studies do support continuity of care and home birth is the best chance of having a normal physiological birth.
Exactly. So I started having a lot of, for a week I was having this, like, I would think about my mum. And I think it is abandonment stuff of maybe I have a fear of like me telling her and then she rejects me as a daughter or something like, and that's probably such a big fear and like such a erratic, stupid thing to think, but
not stupid, so valid, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I
like
think
the logic of it happening.
Yes, is not going to really happen.
There.
Yeah, the wound's there. And it was like hurting my heart, and also that like, my mums are very much like, you'll be fine, mum. And like, as much as I've joked about it so much, like, that's what's gotten me through my pregnancy with these feelings, is me just joking about it and stuff. And yeah, so that was coming up. And then I thought, do I need to do some sort of like a healing session, like healing the mother wound? Well, I don't know. And I started Googling shit. And then, because Terry was like, it could potentially come up in labour, that like just stuff with your mum. And I was like, I'm not afraid to feel it, but like I could feel that there's still energy there, you know what I mean? And then I just got so pregnant, and then I was like, nah, fuck it, I won't tell her. Like, I'll tell her after, and she'll be stoked that Kiri's here and safe and stuff. And then lately, over the past probably week or so, I've been like, fuck, like I just feel really weird with not being completely honest with her. Like, it doesn't feel like it's in my truth and in my integrity. And I obviously don't want her to feel hurt and stuff, and it's got nothing to do with her. It's more me wanting to protect myself at this point, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, but at the end of the day, it is my decision. It's Brenton and I's decision. We feel so comfortable and sure that we're making the right decision. And then also you're just at the mercy of surrender and whatever's meant to happen. I don't know what will happen with my birth, and we may end up at the hospital, but like this, giving myself the opportunity to pave that new way is like what feels important and right for me. So then, last night, I was like trying to talk to my friend about it in the afternoon and it just wasn't really being heard. And I was like, fuck, like I feel a lot about this. And then, last night was super emotional about it. And then spoke to my sister this morning and she was like, I was thinking yesterday, maybe she won't react like how you think she's going to react and like, you've built it up in your head. And that's so fair. But just know that maybe it will feel better to tell her because I know that if I said to her, if I was in labour and I said to her, I need you here, she would come. Mm-hmm. It's not like she'd be like, no, I'm not coming. She'd come and she'd be whatever I needed her to be for me because I know she loves me so much. But there are fears about her leaving or rejecting me for sure. But I also feel like I need to stand in it and just push through those fears and be like, this is what I want and I need you to, it would mean so much to me to have your support. And it really would, if I could be honest with her, because I'm excited about it. It doesn't feel the same as going to the hospital for whatever reason that is. Yeah. And I don't know why, but maybe it's just like the nurturing I feel from my midwives and like being at home, and it just feels like such a safe space for me to be. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to tell her tomorrow.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and then we actually have a little day spa date booked in on Saturday, so I'm like...
Oh, great.
Yeah, so...
You can tell her tomorrow, get like a bit of the brunt out of the way and then commune over a nice day spa.
Yeah.
How divine.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
Cool.
She'll probably be fine. My thought is, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write out a massive text of how I feel. I'm just going to tell her, write it all out in a text and be like, if you want to chat, call me when you're free. But I just am not great at face-to-face or like over the phone. Like, I just get a bit nervous and stuff, and that's definitely something I need to work on. But
and you downplay it?
Yeah, you downplay it, and I don't fully speak.
When I do that, I'm like, shut the fuck up, Amy. You're not even saying what you want to say.
Yeah, you don't like fully speak in your power, and I feel and especially because we have a midwife appointment tomorrow, so like we'll double check everything's okay, and we're going ahead with everything because that's the thing. Things can change so quickly.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's the plan.
Just a thought with that as well. That take with a grain of salt if you want to or not. But I wonder whether when you tell her about the home birth, because, you're going to be hanging out with her between now and birth, you might call on her, as you say, or whatever it is. I feel like maybe at the same time you've got to explain some, I don't know, ground rules is what I want to say, but that's not really what I mean. But I guess explaining to her exactly how you don't want her to speak about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think so as well. And there is no, like, my sister was like, she's not going to be surprised. Yeah. Like, it's you. And even on the weekend, she was like, she was just asking so many questions. And Brent and I are both just like, she's like, so where does your midwife live? And I was like, out near Croy. And she's like, oh, it's a long way to drive.
So she knows you got a private midwife?
Yes.
Ah.
She knows that we have a private midwife. Yeah.
Ah.
And obviously...
And she's thinking that you're going to birth at the hospital with a private midwife?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's like kind of half the Band-Aid ripped off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's like we've made a decision. Because Candace did say to me, you can decide on your birthday that you want to go to the hospital. All good.
You can change your mind. Absolutely.
But I'm just going to say, and it's true, going to the hospital on Saturday really reaffirmed to me that I want to be doing this at home.
Totally.
And if I need you, will you come?
Yes.
She'll probably feel honoured. Yeah. You know, like I would if Kiri was like, I hope that Kiri is, fuck yeah, Mum, I want you there. Yeah. I would so want to be there for her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I want to create. What I want to change in our family is like having that, you know, Brenton's mum's birth was not good. She had a very traumatic birth with him and ended up like breaking her pelvis, and it was like they had to break it because there was no like anaesthetist there, and she really needed a Caesar, and
Gosh,
so then when
my pelvic floor.
When I found out I was pregnant, Brenton was just like, oh fuck, like we're going to have a big baby. And then my whole pregnancy, everyone's just like, you're not very big, but like I've measured along fucking fine. Oh my God, the amount of times people have said that to me.
People just have no idea.
People
it's
have
so funny.
no idea.
Who are you? Who are you to say
your
that?
belly's big?
Exactly.
Oh my God. So yeah, that's the plan. And it makes me feel, I don't like not being completely honest. Not that I've lied. I've just withheld information.
I know. Yeah. Been
and you know what? Yeah, like The thing is, you're in labor at home until pretty much you're in active labor anyway. So it's like you really only got the end part that's at the hospital. So it's, I feel, and the end part is like, she's getting intense.
She is getting intense. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. I'm really excited to hear how it goes. Yes. And just keep in mind, you towards Kiri is very different to your mum towards Yana.
I know. It's a completely different relationship. Yeah. And I think, like, I have been sad over not having that, what you think you want. But then Brenton and I have had conversations about how the lack thereof also highlights where you want to shine when in your own parenting.
Yes.
It's just wild.
It is, isn't it crazy?
I still can't believe there's a child in me.
Yes.
Like, I know I'm so pregnant, but I'm still not sure.
I know what you mean. Did I just have a big lunch?
Did I just be a very big lunch?
Very big lunch. Very big lunch. Do you want to speak to, you had a baby shower and you've also had a mother's blessing. Do you want to speak to your thoughts on the two?
Sure. The baby shower was so overwhelming. It literally took me like 2 weeks to recover from that.
Yeah, fair.
I think it was just not my vibe, but that's okay. As in, it was so good to see everyone, but I also it was so overstimulating. I am not into that kind of, so many people. And yeah, it was so good to have everyone around, but like I didn't get to talk to anyone, and it was just, I don't regret it because it was like so epic to see everyone in the same room, and like my sister was there from Townsville, and Brenton's mum was there, and his grandma were there from Rocky, and like all these people had just come from all over the place. It was just so cool. But then at the same time, I literally couldn't even drive home. Brenton had to drive me home. I was so tired at the end of the day and didn't leave the house for 2 days. I was just like, fuck. It was just full on for the nervous system. It did feel relaxing.
Yeah.
But also, it was probably the way we did it. And also, like, my mother's time management it's always late, always late. And she was still curling her hair, and people were there, and there wasn't food out, and it was just like, and there was so many people. It was just insane.
That's so funny, that whole thing.
It went a really different way to what I thought it would. But also I didn't have any say in the planning. Like, I didn't really care for a baby shower too much, but it was more like my sister was going to be down, and it was a good opportunity to get everyone around, which totally was.
Yeah.
But it was a lot.
And
but
then
blessing. My friends from Zenko, they were like, can we organise a mother's blessing for you? And I was just like, absolutely. That sounds great. I have no idea what that is. Never been to one in my life. And it was just like the most wholesome, beautiful, calming, empowering, loving morning of my whole life. Like, it was just so beautiful, and just to feel like so loved and held by so many women. Like, I was really on a really beautiful high after that, and just felt really nurtured, and it was really nice.
So good.
That was like obviously more my vibe. It was like we'll do a meditation and like the red ribbon thing, and we did the big henna on my belly.
I saw that. How lovely.
Which was so funny because somebody had heard me say, I want to get like a painting on my belly, and then somebody went and got henna, and then they all did a little bit. It was really nice. And then they all made me like different bath salts and teas to have, and then they wrote like little words of like affirmation on them and stuff. And it was just, and then we did this bead thing where they all brought a bead, and then the bead symbolized something, and they would speak of something of me, and it was literally like me just getting showered in love for 3 hours. And then somebody brought cake. It got even better. It was good.
See, isn't it so nice? Yeah, like that is showering the mother who's about to birth.
Yes, absolutely. And as much as, so once everyone left the actual baby shower, Brent and I were like, holy shit, like that was crazy. And then it was really fun because we didn't ask for presents, but heaps of people brought presents, which like was fun and nice for us because we haven't really bought anything. So it was just like all of this stuff that we wouldn't have bought, and it was all really beautiful. And I got some really nice teas and stuff, and some like, your letter, and like a lot of like my friends wrote like some really beautiful things, and it was like we all sat around after, and like it was like Christmas but for Kiri. Like it was really fun. Like that was really fun. And Brenton like looking at all the baby clothes and stuff like was fun because he hasn't guys are just like not as into it,
Yeah.
But so that was really cool. But there's something about birth and pregnancy that does just feel like it's just belongs to women, and you just feel a lot more, I don't know what it is. Like, they just get you.
I was just going to say that.
More understood.
Whereas it's pretty much just a big party when there's all the boys there. Like at the baby shower, like all the boys were there. And it is just different.
It is different. And I love that Brenton also had that opportunity to have his buddies there, and they were all like, oh, here's $50. And like their cards are like, get your sleep in now, huh? Just fucking so funny. But it was good to see them because they've been a part of my life, and we're changing so much, and it's really interesting, like, watching everyone. So you're changing, you're in this completely different phase, and then a lot of people are not, like, because they're obviously just not having a child. Like, if I wasn't having a baby right now, like, my life would be so different.
Yes.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, it is so crazy, isn't it? It is so crazy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we wanted to talk about on today's potty? I feel like we covered some really great topics.
All right, we'll just check in next time.
Yes, we are playing the waiting game right now.
Yeah, I feel like I still have stuff I want to do, and I'm very intrigued as to, like, when it will happen, as in, like, you just don't know. And, like, I don't know, because it's like now my back just feels so sore, which I don't know what that means. So what did you say? It's a good thing?
That's right. We were talking about this. Are you still having little contractions like you were on Saturday? Little Braxton here?
Yeah.
Period painy?
Yeah.
And baby's low, right?
Yeah.
And you're experiencing back pain. Whereabouts in your back exactly, if you were to tune in?
It's very much around the tailbone, I would say.
Yeah. And what about over the last couple of days, exact same space?
No, I definitely, like, it's very... Can I show you?
Yeah, show me.
I would say it's, like, it either, like, around here as well.
Yes.
But then very low. Actually.
Very low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder, and it didn't start on the right side, did it? And then it's rotated. It's been that tailbone the whole time.
Nah, it's definitely actually probably more on the right side.
Interesting, hey?
Yeah.
And you said that Candace said baby's back was right along the front, occipital anterior. That's what kind of threw me, which I was like, oh, this is just interesting, because I always love trying to break down different symptoms and figure out what's going on position-wise or what's happening, is that a lot of the time the second most common position is for babe to start on the right occipital posterior. So they start here and then they rotate all the way around, past the back, around to the left side, where often then labour starts, and quite often they have to move through the inlet on this side, so the top of the pelvis, and then you get these tiny little contractions for 5 to 7 days, even what we call spurious labour. And this is just annoying little contractions, but it's a tiny little pressure that is giving baby what it needs for its head to spring off the ligaments within the pelvis to rotate around into that left side.
She's definitely on the left side.
Yeah. So this is just a different example I'm talking about probably. But then what's really interesting with that is that's actually ideal, although it's annoying being in spurious labour, and I appreciate that it's exhausting for a lot of mamas, but it is more ideal going through this spurious labour and having baby rotate over 5 days or so, or even 3 or whatever it ends up being, rather than going into active labour and having this intense, exhausting active labour with all this rotation to do before baby even starts to descend through the pelvis. So that can quite often what be happening, which is what I was initially thinking. But then when you said backs on the front, I was like, could be maybe more the head's a little bit funny, but it could easily not be as well, and just be your pelvis creating space.
Getting soul.
Yes. And the fact that it's directly on your sacrum makes me feel like, because the pelvis we think is this rigid structure, but it's actually so flexible and so malleable, especially in pregnancy. You've got so much relaxin flowing through your body that your sacrum is able to lift out 2 to 3 centimeters out of the pelvis. So you imagine that stretch that's happening on those joints on either side, which is definitely going to cause pain when that happens and as baby moves down. So I wonder whether, because baby's already down and engaged and getting all your cervix and everything so ready as we speak, that sacrum is already having to move out of the way.
It's interesting because I've definitely had, and I think I've told you about this, I've had like moments in my pregnancy where I've gone into like downward dog, and literally at my sacrum it feels like it will make a noise. It's like
Interesting.
yeah, and then like that's happened a few times, and it almost feels like there's like space or air there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been,
underneath your sacrum.
so like around my tailbone.
Yeah.
So interesting. It's like such a weird sensation. And then yeah, that's happened even like when I would go on the birth ball, like it would just feel like this weird little like and I'm like
a squeaky gate.
yeah, literally. It's so bizarre. And then now, like, when, like, we have sex, it's not a vibe. No, like, not a vibe for, especially Brenton. But also for me, it feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If we're going, like, if I'm on top, which, like, poor fella. It's got about 15 more kilos on him, but anyway, it's fine. I haven't actually weighed myself.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
At all. I don't even remember. I don't think they weighed me at the start. I'm not even kidding. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, it just feels, he says it feels like it's hitting something.
Yes.
What's that?
Probably Kiri's head.
That's what he said. He was like, I feel like I'm hitting her head. And I'm like, you're not hitting her head.
Probably more so the cervix. Who knows? It'd be either the cervix or the head. But obviously it's not the direct head. It'd be like the head, then fluid, sac, uterus, and then the outside of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. How does that feel having sex right now? Is it nice?
No.
No.
No, it's not true. It's nice, as in, but we've just had to go, we just do doggy now.
Yeah, fair.
Which is not, like, it's not my favourite thing.
Yeah.
But
I
also
hear
my
that.
sex drive has gone down now.
Yeah.
Like it was like...
Not like it was.
Yeah, it was like hectic and I was just like, let's fuck all the time. And now I'm like, I also had the strangest... I'm not going to talk about it. I'll tell you off air.
Ooh. Sorry, listeners. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would absolutely love if you shared with someone else who would benefit from this information or on your social stories. If you are pregnant right now with no idea where to start and you are inundated with an abundance of information, our free 14-day pregnancy preparation short course is for you. There is a plethora of pregnancy meditations, pregnancy yoga flows, educational talks, physical movement videos, all to prepare for birth that you can access for free right now. The link is in the show notes. Now, if you are absolutely loving this podcast and the type of information we share, but you are not quite in the pregnancy or birth realm yet, I have some news for you that you are going to want to know. We have reached out to a bunch of the best preconception, pregnancy, and birth professionals to accumulate numerous tangible skills, tips, and advice to be sent straight to your inbox. If you would like to receive these fortnightly, then sign up on the newsletter link below. Talk to you soon.